Well, I watched all 8 episodes of The Fall of the House of Usher on Netflix, and this would make, I believe, the fourth uh, series, if you will. It's not really cobbled together under a single banner, I guess. Maybe it should be. It's like this. Like it's a season of each one, but it all began with the creators behind this with The Haunting of Hill House, followed by The Haunting of Blair House, I believe. I'm already forgetting the title on that one. It's the weakest of the four. Not bad. The atmospherics and everything are well done and all that. Then Midnight Mass, and now this one. And still, Haunting of the Hill House is probably still the best. Just, if nothing else, that mid-episode gut punch that it delivered. That was pretty good. It's going to be very difficult to top that. But all in all, pretty well done set of shows. This one, I understood what they were doing, but the one thing that really tended to push me out was too much of the weird sex in it. And the idea is there's only one character in here, well, maybe two, that are any good as far as being moral, or they don't deserve any of the ill will, and one of them most notably. But it's the story concerning the Edgar Allan Poe writings, poems, short stories, and that sort of thing. And there's an homage to it within its own narrative of this powerful family that is suffering the consequences of the sins of them as a whole, and primarily of their father and his sister. As and it becomes very clear that there's some sort of Faustian bargain that enabled them to achieve their power and wealth and all that, and now they've got to pay the piper, as it were. And by Faustian, I mean an actual Faustian bargain. and it's never quite clear what the entity is here. I mean, of course, the immediate assumption is the devil, and there's really no other candidate for this, considering what happened. And that the entity herself is played by a woman in this story, is fascinated and impressed with evil people. And that sort of thing. So it says, I'm not, but you can say it kind of denies that it's the devil or whatever, but it's, it's like, well, the devil would lie. Once again, all kinds of horrific imagery ensue. Some of them are really gross and disgusting. But they pretty much are really rotten people. Now, the children of the initial sinner here are the ones who suffer first as part of the deal. And you see how that unfolds. But they're all set up as they're very wealthy and spoiled rotten, and they only they don't even love themselves so much as they love the power and the pursuit of it, which is empty and that sort of thing. And even if they were pursuing love, I don't think they even knew how to do it, because they're all kinds of messed up. And of course, the screwed up sexualities within it is a part of it, and so it might be a bit gratuitous here and there. But for the most part, it's an apt element of their characters as you go forward. And it becomes a bit of a parody of the powerful and just how pathetic they are in the aspects of it. But ultimately, it's like there's not a whole lot of sympathy for any of them. So, I mean, they suffer horrible ends, but it's kind of like, yeah, well... even though it's all this supernatural stuff and they don't really understand what's happening and all that, but they're tormented by their own sins and failings, and more times than not in how they used people and what have you. And ultimately, this is a torment of their father, who struck this bargain along with his sister and all that. And so it jumps back and forth through time. There's younger actors playing the younger roles and all this stuff. There's this crusading prosecutor who's been chasing after them, as they're the head of this pharmaceutical company that has multiple sins on the corruption and the things it was involved in, and so on and so forth. So there's that commentary on that sort of thing. There's a bit of a speech at the end by the sister that I could have done without, but at the same time I rethought it and thought, you know what, that is something she would say, trying to rationalize her whole life at the end of it and all this sort of thing, because she was quite the villain, and in some points she was lost from the get-go, or her brother might have had a chance and has something of a conscience there, but he's just as lost by the end. And that's that. They're done. So there's only the granddaughter. The only granddaughter that he has here is the only innocent here, the only noble person. And I suppose the prosecutor is also somewhat. At least he survives. Oops, spoiler. But the clever structure of it is the famous poems and stories of Edgar Allan Poe is the title of each episode, and how to utilize the aspects of those stories in how these people meet their ends. And so, of course, there's Pit and the Pendulum. Can you guess how that happens? There's Mask of the Red Death. Well, and that's got to be one of the more gruesome ones of it. Of the ends of them, and Telltale Heart. So you get an idea of what the structure is, but it's played out well, and I enjoyed the show as much as you can enjoy gruesome horror here and there, and also the impending doom of the guilty and that sort of thing. So it's a recommend. I guess on the metric, Hill House is still better, the best of the batch. And it's been a while since I saw Blair House, so maybe it's on par with that one in some ways. But I'm guessing it's kind of on par with Midnight Mass, which was a pretty good one too. So be curious to see what they do next with this genre, as it were. So if you liked the previous ones, definitely check this one out. And just for my own take on it, I do recommend The Fall in the House of Usher.